Good morning. It is Saturday, February 21st.
Mm.
What?
Yep.
Already? And I'm hanging out with Kenny. This is like Kenny and I have been hanging out. This is kind of cool.
Right?
I
I
think
love it.
it's
Love
I
it.
think it's going well. What do you think?
I think so too.
Kenny, how are you today?
I'm doing great this morning. Doing great.
That's
Doing
awesome.
great this morning. I'm excited about the show.
Good.
Excited. Excited.
I'm down. I'm next to the fire today cuz I woke up and I couldn't warm up. I don't know. It was cold, so I decided to move my kit, my whole rack and kit, whatever you want to call it, my studio downstairs. He's great. Does he do a Tony the Tiger impersonation? Let's see. Do you do one? No.
Great.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
Uh,
So yeah, it is we're hoping that we can get out of this all this snow and nonsense we've been dealing with.
yeah, it's
Um
very
I mean it's part of being in New England, so I guess, what are you gonna do? But it's been a little extra this year, I think. Yeah, so we got another snowstorm coming. We're not excited about that at all.
no. No,
But
no.
yeah. So on February 21st, 2026, Saturday morning, Kenny,
Mhm.
what do you want us to know?
I would like you to know that in 1965, radical minister and human rights leader Malcolm X is gunned down during a Manhattan event for the Organization of Afro American Unity, a group he founded.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. This is going to be somewhat civil rights history day.
Yeah. That is the only thing in history to. Oh, now we got a good news story. Good news story. Oh, man, did I mess up?
Okay. That's on the
Okay,
list.
that was today in history. Good news story. Okay, rock singer, reality TV star, and dog lover, Britt Michaels has his own line of rocking dog toys.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
did not know that about Brett Michaels.
yeah.
Wow.
It's called the Pet Rock Collection. It includes toys, beds, clothing, bowls, collars, and leashes, and a little rock and roll flair, which has headbands. It's
Yeah.
iconic headbands for
Yeah.
every pet. And all the proceeds go to diabetes research.
That's fair. I like that. I did not
Yeah,
know that. I don't know
yeah,
how I missed that. That's cool.
uh, Brett Michaels was born with Brett Michaels was born type 1 diabetic.
Yes.
So that's the good news story. Congratulations to him for doing research for diabetics.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
we were just talking about the history and rock-ish from yesterday, February 20th, and that was a rough day for a lot of us up here in New England, but
Yep.
back in 2003. But yeah, that's very cool about that. That's cool. I did not know that, and I'm gonna go as soon as we're done with this show. I'm gonna go look at all those doggy toys and pet toys. That's pretty cool that he's
Right
doing
at
that.
Pet, right at PetSmart.
Oh, nice, nice. Well,
Right.
I'm gonna look at him online because I want to see what he's got. He's probably got a little website somewhere.
Yeah.
He's got like all that stuff up there, so I'm gonna check it out. And that is definitely a great cause. I mean, um, a friend of mine and I were talking about like, well, it's just we're Gen X, and all of us and our rockers, we're all just getting up there, and we're gonna start, talking about health issues and all that kind of fun stuff, that you do when you become ancient, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's better than the alternative. That's what they always say.
Yes. True story. Yep.
That's what they
Very
always
good.
say. Sometimes
Very
we are okay with that saying, and sometimes we get upset about that saying. But it's the truth. We could have all, God knows.
good.
So, uh, let me give you some information on where to find us. You guys are watching us live. If you're watching us at Kick. You're watching us on YouTube, or you're
Mm-hmm.
watching us on Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting.
Yep.
You're watching us on Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And you're watching us at Twitter or X, having an identity crisis as usual, at broadcasting RI, right? If you want to listen to us, but you don't feel like looking at us, which, like I say, every week, I don't know how that could be possible, but if that's how you feel, that's fine. You can listen to us on Spotify, Red Circle, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, and we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Right now, we're taking over the globe for this hour. Is that crazy? Do you feel like a
Crazy.
wizard? Do you feel like a wizard, Kenny? And then if you want, catch our social media. We are on MeWe. We are on TikTok, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Parlor, Space,
Hey.
Gab at RI Broadcasting, right? And I'm sorry, it's RI Broadcasting. All of our audio is at RI Broadcasting too. I forgot to mention that because I was too busy talking about whatever global domination, right?
Yes.
And we are on Twitter and /X at Broadcasting RI, which we mentioned earlier, but you can also listen to us there. And we are on Patreon. If you want to get any kind of merch, cool merch, you know, little cha-ching, send us a little of that at RI Broadcasting. And underneath me, at Going On Daily Morning Show, if you can find that page, follow it, share it, because we're trying to build up our followers there again, right? So if you can do that, that'd be great. And the website that we are on is rhodeislandbroadcasting.net. Support the show. Check out this website. Everything that I just mentioned to you is also listed there. In case you didn't catch any of it, which it's Saturday morning and nobody's had their coffee, so it's possible everybody was just like, "Oh, I don't know what the heck I just listened to," but it's all there. You can find it. And then we also have a Hall of Fame, and if you're gonna go there, you're gonna vote for the Hall of Fame, right? So right now it's 90s drama series, and that QR code, if you click it, will take you straight to the website. You don't have to type anything, which is good for Saturday morning, right?
Yes.
We're still zombies. We don't want to type things.
Nope.
And so right now, X-Files is in the lead, but Twin Peaks, The X-Files, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Oz, and ER, those are the shows that you can vote on. Those are the 5. Right? That's 5. Am I counting wrong? What'd you say?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
So right now, X-Files is in the lead, which... What did you want? Did you vote? What did you vote for?
I'm not telling you. I'm not
gonna tell me. Oh, it's a secret. It's a secret. I haven't voted yet because I don't know. Oh, he just ratted you out, man. Man, you deal with him tomorrow.
Yeah, I will.
Deal with him tomorrow.
I'm going to expose him tomorrow.
But yeah, whatever. I mean, it's tough because some of those shows were pretty good, and it's kind of tough to decide. I was thinking The X-Files, but I'm also real partial to ER. I really am. I mean, I watched every episode of it, and there's several people from it that I love. So
Me too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. They're really all really good shows. So if you get a chance to go there and get the vote in, we have how many days left? 7, because we have a short month. So we got to get on this,
Yep.
Got to get on this. And so I don't know where to go from here. I do have a story for you guys, but I don't know, Kenny, do you have stories between my stories now, or did you just roll over your stories all in the beginning of the show?
Yep, sure did. So it's
okay.
All right.
Well, most of them, right?
Yep.
So the next thing for me, and I always say this to people, I have friends that I tell this about pet adoption. It can be, it's better for dogs, but cats too, because cats have a different way of adjusting or whatever, right? But basically, there's a 3-3-3 rule that you should follow if you're adopting a pet. Think about this. I mean, you're a pet, you're in a shelter, which is stressful to begin with, right? And then on top of that, you're adopted out to a place that within 2 days decides, nope. I mean, that sort of traumatizes pets.
Yeah.
And it gives them a harder time as far as settling into a home. And I don't know. I do look at pets as children, and most dogs are like 2 or 3 year old children. That's what their mental capacity is.
Mhm.
So if you're gonna adopt a pet, you have to remember that rule, right? I mean, they don't really get um into a position where they so I have all of my here we go. So they don't get into a position where they're like kind of where they're gonna be for like a while. So basically the first rule is it's 3 days, it's 3 weeks, and then 3 months, right? So the rule is the 3 day rule. 3 day rule, they gotta decompress, right? So they're feeling overwhelmed. They may feel scared or unsure of what's going on. So when you first get an animal in your home, when you adopt, they're gonna hide. They're gonna maybe not eat. There's things that they're gonna do that are gonna be just. I mean, honestly, is it fair? I mean, they don't know you, right? You don't. They don't know your place. They don't know all the smells. So they've got to just kind of just chill.
Mhm.
They're not comfortable enough to be themselves at that point. And maybe, animals do believe, I think, in some way that in their own way that they need to be on best behavior. If they're
Yes.
taken out of a shelter and they're put in your home, to some degree, they're trying not to, whatever it is that they're trying not to do the wrong thing, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They may not want to eat or drink, and that's fair. In the first 3 days, you got to let them, if they're hungry, they'll eat. But if they're nervous, a lot of pets, especially dogs, won't eat if they're extremely anxious or nervous. And they may shut down, they may hide under your furniture, and they may test boundaries as well, right? I mean, like I said, if you're adopting a 2 or 3 year old child, it's basically the same thing. They're gonna come into your home and they're gonna know what is up, what's down, what they can do, what they can't do. They don't know
Yes.
anything about who you are or what goes on in your environment, right? So they're going to do a number of things to test and or try to protect themselves based on wherever they came from. And so it takes 3 weeks for them to learn your routine, your daily routine. So the 3 week rule is that they'll start settling in the 3 weeks. They'll feel more comfortable in that 3 weeks. And they may start realizing, oh, I live here. This is where I live. This is my home. They may figure out their environment a little better within that 3 weeks. And then they may get into a routine of their own around yours, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
They may let their guard down. So this is what always say to people: 3 weeks in is kind of where your dog or cat becomes whoever they are. They start going, okay, I don't have to watch this. I don't have to watch that. If they have behaviors that are not good, this is kind of where they might show up. And so when they say you might start seeing their true personality, that's what that means. And if they have behavioral issues, that's when those things will start to come up. So you have to understand whatever they're telling you in the shelter when you get this animal, and that's a whole nother story. And that animals can't speak, and you have to remember this. And so
Mhm.
you don't know what was the problem when the animal was dropped off. And this is from somebody who was working at a shelter and dealing with. I used to work with animals being adopted out, calling people after the animal got adopted, reminding people of what they should be doing, whether it's spay or neuter or whatever,
Mhm.
sending people home with care packages of food and instructions and vet things and whatever. And so um, you never really know what the heck happened. You don't know why that dog got dropped off. If it's something benign and not a good reason for that dog to get dropped off, the person dropping the dog off may just completely lie about it, or they may have found the dog, roaming the streets. In that case, you don't really know what the history is, and then also you also don't know if they got brought back, why they got brought back. So you may see behavioral issues that they may tell you about when you're picking up the dog or adopting the dog from the shelter or the cat from the shelter. However, that's only going to be based on behavior that was seen in the shelter. So it still doesn't really tell you anything about what that animal will be like in a home unless they were fostered, and that might be a little bit of a different situation. So that's your 3 weeks. And then within 3 months, this is where you start to have this is who your dog is in 3 months.
Mhm.
They start to finally feel completely comfortable. And it is fair that a dog would take 3 months to feel comfortable in any home. I know a lot of people don't really get that, and most people don't have a lot of um, patience once they adopt something, a dog or a cat or another animal. They want that animal to acclimate, but it's fair that 3 months. It takes 3 months for them to do that. And then they start to begin to like build a trust and a bond with people in the home at that point.
Mhm.
They'll gain a complete sense of security with their new family at that point. which is why it's so frustrating to see people drop off their dogs again at 4 months. But that's another story. And then they get into a routine, a really good routine, and whoever your dog is after 3 months, if they're loved and cared for and they feel like they're safe, that's finally what you're gonna get, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It takes a good 3 months to actually say, okay, what do we have here? And so it's just so that people understand. Like I said, most people are projecting from where they're at and not understanding where their pet came from, that they adopted, what kind of history, whether that history is abuse, whether that history is neglect, whether this dog was, born under a barn and just running around with siblings and a farm somewhere. I mean, you just really don't know.
Mhm.
And a lot of these dogs are transported and changed different states, things like that. So they don't always know where they're going, and you don't always know where they came from. So just be fair and patient with animals when you adopt. And that's my story.
Cool.
That's basically the 333 rule. If you know anyone who's adopting a dog or cat or other pet, skunk, pig,
Pig. Yeah.
whatever,
Mhm.
um, and you can help them with this rule. It's easy to look up. This little thing here is kind of what you would find if you looked it up on the internet. There's like a little, you can't really read that there, but
Mhm.
if you pull up on Google, you should see that like in one screenshot deal, where everything is there and you can kind of just download it to your phone and send it. But if you know somebody that just adopted a dog or cat or whatever, you can help them with that information, or you can hold on to it for yourself if that's what you're doing. Adopting a pet, it would be good to just kind of put it on the fridge and look at it. So, and yeah, I agree. Animals are much more sense than people, and
Mm.
the only reason why is because animals don't have any nefarious. They have no agenda. They have
Mm.
no
True.
special interest in anything that's going on. They're just trying to live.
True.
You know, they can't scheme. They can't manipulate. I mean, don't get me wrong. They do. Like I said, they have 3-year-old mentalities, but for the most part, they're not out to hatch a plan, like some of these adults are running into these days. You know, so yeah. So yeah, that's the 333 rule. Hopefully that was helpful for someone. But
Mm.
I just I like to remind people of that when I can.
That's nice. That 333 rule. Okay.
Yep. Yep. It's kind of easy to remember. It's a little easy to. It's like, it's sticky in your head.
Mhm.
There's your today in history.
Oh,
So we're
that's
gonna
right.
talk about Malcolm X. What else we got?
Oh, Batman. I didn't have that on my list. Oh, I didn't have that
Uh-oh.
on my list. I don't know.
Is that when the day when Batman was premiered on TV?
I have no idea. I didn't have that on my list. I had Shakespeare on my list.
Interesting.
I had
Oh,
Shakespeare won an Emmy. Oh,
the
won
Batman theme won an
a
Emmy.
Grammy.
When I was
Really?
a kid, almost every boy I knew had that damn song in his head. So we'd be out playing or whatever, and boys would always do that when they threw something or if I jumped off a roof or something. Na, 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 na. The
Batman.
theme. The
You
theme to Batman.
theme
Yeah.
to Batman won a Grammy. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything at this point, but if not, um, I could segue.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll segue. We can roll right into um, some of the people that we've just lost recently. This has been a rough year. So, last year we were all like, "Oh my god!" Like everybody under the sun is dropping like flies. Can we get a break?
Thank you. Right?
Right? And so we were like,
Oh,
"Okay, maybe 2026 will be better." Right?
yeah.
And then like every single week since the beginning of 2026, we've lost at least 2 people.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been worse than last year so far, right?
Me too.
So, as usual, let's pray to the universe that this all slows down a little bit. But
Mhm.
I will say that at my age, at my advanced age, um, this
No.
is good. A lot of this is going to happen, at least for the people that I grew up idolizing and watching, and whether it's musicians or actors or whatever, we're going to see a lot more of this. So what are you going to do? So we lost Eric Dean this week, and we also lost Jesse Jackson. Segueing on Jesse Jackson, we'll start with him. I don't know how much you know about Jesse Jackson's history, but Jesse Jackson had one hell of a life, I gotta say.
Yeah, he did.
And when you look back through it, I don't know. I mean, I grew up where Jesse Jackson was just part of the background. He just was part of the background.
Yep.
And then we learned, at least kind of in my classes at school or whatever, but also I'm one of those people that like to look at history in my own spare time about certain things, especially Martin Luther King. And he was part of the fabric of Martin Luther King's universe. I mean, there's so many people that were around Martin Luther King that were amazing. Harry Belafonte, who we just lost as well. So there's just so many people around him that that were part of the civil rights movement that you just like, I guess most people don't really know or understand. But anyway, yeah, he picked up. I mean, they all picked up where, honestly, they all picked up where Martin Luther King left off, because Martin Luther King was killed so young. So a lot of them had to kind of pick up the torch and keep walking. When you think about it, he was one of the people who was who was in Memphis at that time, who was at that hotel at the time. And that, I mean, I don't want to say luckily, because not luckily anything happened to anybody, but luckily they did a documentary called King in the Wilderness. If you ever get a chance to see it. Kenny's seen it?
Yep.
King in the Wilderness is Martin Luther King had this great story and everything like that. He did his I Have a Dream speech in 1963. And then that speech, kind of for whatever reason, for people of color and for people who, are going through school and history, that's kind of like where everybody stops talking about him. Like, he said this and we all lived happily ever after. Martin Luther King had like a good 4 or 5 years after that. And a lot of things that he did and a lot of things that happened that are important. Right. And so King of the Wilderness will take you from the I Have a Dream speech to when he was killed, which is just a lot of history that for whatever reason gets skipped over and nobody talks about or knows a lot about or whatever. But anyway, when he was killed, there was everybody that was still around during that documentary. Like I say, thankfully, luckily, we had Harry Belafonte at that time. We had, we had pretty much everybody that was there except for Martin Luther King at that time. This was like 2017, I think this documentary came out. Mm-hmm. And Jesse Jackson was one of the people they interviewed, and he was explaining, how he didn't, he wasn't sure if he wanted to go and give that last speech the night before he was killed, when it was pouring rain and, and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't want to go, but they busted him up. Come on, you got to go do this. There's a bunch of people waiting for you. And that last speech is a speech we all see. I've been to the mountaintop, I've been, I see where we're going, that whole thing. When he kind of knew he was going to be killed, whatever. Anyway, it's amazing that Jesse Jackson wasn't there for that. Right. So he was born in Greenville, South Carolina. He was born Jesse Louis Burns. His father was Noah Robinson, who was a cotton grader. Mm-hmm. His mother was Helen Jackson. He was married in 1962, from 62 to his death. So I don't know what to say, but whenever I see a marriage that starts and it's just a one person and it goes till they die, I'm like, that's enough to mention, because so many people get married and divorced, and there's always, so when somebody meets somebody, marries them, and that's it for them, that's outstanding to me, because you don't see that a lot. He was educated at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in Greensboro, BA in Sociology, Chicago Theological Seminary, 2000. He was a Baptist, but they say that he didn't do very well in speaking. Like, he actually had a bad grade in speaking, but he was an orator. He was a speaker for years. But when he first went to school for it, I guess he got, for people who don't think they could do public speaking, you need to follow Jesse Jackson, because the schools told him he was bad at it and don't do it, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And then he received an offer from Chicago White Sox, which I did not know, and a football scholarship.
Yep.
from the University of Illinois, which I did not know. And he chose the football scholarship, but he later transferred to North Carolina A&T State University, and that's pretty interesting for his like college history. I just I didn't know some of these things were interesting to me. But anyway, he started in 1960 with civil rights activism and was kind of doing his own thing, and then got folded into Martin Luther King's whole Selma, Alabama situation in 1965. I'm not sure if you knew anything about. I know you do, but if anybody that I'm talking to at home does not understand or know what Selma, Alabama is about, you got to look it
Mm.
up. That's one of
Yep.
the biggest.
Yep.
Um, and this he got involved with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Excuse me, in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, right? And then he was chosen by King to head the Chicago branch of Operation Breadbasket, right? And that was sort of an organization that was striving to just feed Black communities across the nation, people of in poverty. And he was ordained a Baptist minister in 1968, which I don't know whether it was before or after Martin Luther King was killed. That I don't know. I think it was after. He resigned from SCLC and he formed Operation Push, which is People United to Save Humanity in Chicago. That would have been in 1971. All right. And then he was the executive director of operation for them until 1986. Then I don't know if you remember this. I do. A lot of people with everything going on in the world may have forgotten. He ran for president twice.
Yes.
He ran for president once for the 1984 Democratic presidential as a candidate.
Yep.
He did not win, but he ran.
Yep.
And he ran in 1988 again.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was more popular in 1988 than 1984, right? So he did not win either one. But hey, you could say you run for president, and the chips fall where they may.
Exactly.
But good for him for going out for it, right?
Of course.
He also like advocated for so many. I can't even. There's so many people that he advocated for their release from being prisoners, for their release for being for their release for being prisoners, for their release for being kidnapped, all kinds of stuff that had to do with politics. He came in and talked to getting hostages out of Syria. He got some U.S. soldiers released. Like I said, there's a long list, but if you get a chance to look it up, that he stepped in and advocated for so many people that were just being tortured or had been hostages for something or other that were going on politically. He was good for that. And then he hosts a show called Both Sides with Jesse Jackson from 1992 to 2000. Right? I didn't want to make a Jesse Jackson's calling on the phone joke, but Ron did it for me.
Yeah.
Operation Push and the Rainbow Coalition merged to form Rainbow Push Coalition. This is 1996.
Yes.
And that was the way it was until the end, right? Because he did step down at some point. But yeah, okay. So anyway, yeah. So there were 3 U.S. soldiers who had been held in Yugoslavia for more than a month in 1999. He advocated for their release, got them released. 2000, he gets the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Right.
Yeah.
And then again, there's just so many times that he stepped in and did something for somebody who was hostage somewhere. And I'm not going to get into all that, but he got diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017. Right. And he also, that's where kind of, I think, where everything kind of started. And then he was in and out of the hospital since at that point, from that point on, for different things. But it kind of, I think it started there. He did endorse Bernie Sanders in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, he had surgery in 2021. The Rainbow Coalition would be the ones who would have talked about whatever was happening with his health. But in November of last year, he had been admitted to the hospital and he was under observation for progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP. And from that point on, his health deteriorated until the 17th. What day was that? Anyway, Jesse Jackson has just had one heck of a life. So
Yeah.
I mean, he was 84 years old, fairly young, um, but a full life. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I don't know. With everything that he went through and everything that he dealt with, especially in the 60s, I don't know how he lived as long as he did. But every second that he did everything he could to, push
Yep.
civil rights, get
Yep.
people what they need. He just, and to keep hope alive, that was his, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Keep hope alive, keep hope alive. That was
Keep
his. And
hope alive.
there's a video of him that is all over the internet now, but it's from back. Do you remember him doing the "I am somebody" speech?
Yes.
Right.
I
He did that even on Sesame Street. Like that was the coolest. You know.
even Kid and Play did it on there.
Yeah, they did their version of it, but
In the-
yeah, he did that. I mean, back in the late '60s and early '70s, that's what he did. He had kids. He had this whole mantra that he wanted kids to understand, right? Much like James
yeah.
Brown did, as far as I'm concerned. About this is something to remember. You are somebody. It doesn't matter, where you come from or where you think. You are a person. You have value. And that was pretty cool. So that's Jesse Jackson. Now we also have Eric Dane. And Eric Dane, he's more. I mean, well, he was close to. You have to start with Kids That Change the Future, absolutely. And so, um,
Mhm.
you see things. To me, Sesame Street. I was a PBS kid, so Sesame Street and Alphabet Soup and Electric Company. Those were all shows I loved. Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
me too.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was too old for Reading Rainbow, but I loved it. When I could watch it. But for me, PBS was how I was raised. It was just like I was in front of that all the time. And so we have also the death of Eric Dane. He died of ALS. He was 53 years old, born in 1972. And I'm just going to go through a little bit of his history. I'm not sure if you know much about Eric Dane. I learned who Eric Dane was from watching a movie called Burlesque. I absolutely love that movie. I'm not a musical fan, but I have a couple movies that I
Mm.
like, and Burlesque was just one of my favorite movies. And so he's somebody that I kind of became somebody on my radar. But he's been around forever. His first gig was on Saved by the Bell in 1991, and he was 19 years old at that point. And he's, I don't know if he did one episode. I think he did like one episode, but that was kind of his breakout, where he was seen somewhere, in the industry. He was on the Wonder Years. He wasn't. These are just roles that he jumped into once or twice. He was on Wonder Years as a guest or as a character. He was on Married with Children, 1995. He kind of showed up and did an episode or two there. He came in and did some stuff on Roseanne, that 1996. So at this point, he's 24 years old. But his breakout role was at Jason Dean on Charmed. Now, I was too old to watch Charmed because Charmed was millennial generation, right? That's 2003, 2004. I'm a full grown adult. I'm out working in clubs, and I don't have time to watch TV at that point. But that was his very first big role, and then he played James McGrath on Bad Boys Ride or Die. Now that's something people might remember. He played a villain in that movie. I don't know how many Bad Boys movies there are now. He played. I do remember this. He played on Valentine's Day, the movie The Valentine's Day, which was a Gary Marshall movie, I think. He played Sean Jackson. He was like an athlete that kind of came out as gay, and I believe Bradley Cooper played his love interest in that movie, and it was a sappy, silly movie, but it was on cable a lot at one point, so I did see it. He was in the X-Men: The Last Stand. He played multiple men. Now, I'm not huge on I don't know much about the X-Men or like Marvel. I'm not sure about superheroes. That's not my thing. But he did play multiple man in The Last Stand. He played the guy that could multiply. He was in a movie called Marley and Me. I do remember this as Sebastian Tunney, and he played sort of a friend of the main character. He was in Burlesque as Marcus Gerber, and then he was on Grey's Anatomy for years. That's kind of what most people probably remember him for at this point, as Dr. Mark Sloan. So you had McDreamy and you had McSteamy. and McDreamy would have been Patrick Dempsey, and McSteamy would have been Eric Dane, right? So his character, that's kind of, I think, where everybody caught wind of him. Jason Dean was where he got his breakout role, but I think Grey's Anatomy is what people associate with him the most. He was on a series called The Last Ship. He was also on a series called Countdown. And he was recently on Euphoria. He played a character on Euphoria. So I don't know if anybody watches Euphoria. I've not had a chance to see it yet, but he's been, I think he stepped into that. I don't know if he was on when it started, but he had been on, with the Zendaya. So yeah, Cal Jacobs, he plays on Euphoria. So in 2024, not long ago, his health went down quick. He was diagnosed with ALS in late 2024. I believe it was like October, November, something like that. Noticing weakness in his right hand. And he talked to ABC News at that time, said he'd never forget those 3 letters ALS, and it's on me the second I wake up. That was just a quote from him. But yeah, he went downhill fast. There are videos, which I think is sweet. He was getting a divorce at the time that he was diagnosed, and I guess they decided for the kids and for each other, because if he was sick, that they would scrap the divorce. But he created some videos for his wife and his children that they could see after he passed. So, and we're living in a technology age where you can now do that. You can kind of it's not like you have to, I mean, some people used to do that with video cameras. Those old video cameras, you could kind of do that before you passed away. You could kind of leave videos, but a lot of times it used to be notes and letters. And so the video that he left for his children, I mean, it's something you can actually see. It's not as personal as I think some people have done, but I thought that was a sweet thing for his kids to see. Although right now, I'm sure it's absolutely heartbreaking for them. At some point, it will be something that will be worthwhile for them to have. So yeah, those are the 2 we lost. Jeez. Rest in peace, Eric Dane. Rest in peace, Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive, Kenny.
Yep, Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a busy day.
Let's Eversource. There's a storm coming.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You get a phone call when there's a storm coming? I don't. I have to watch the news. I don't get did the weatherman call you?
Yeah, there's a storm coming. This is what you should do.
Yep, that's Eric Dane's family, and before it was Jesse Jackson's family. We're all calling Kenny. So, man, you talked about us. That's great. So yeah.
About that.
Those are my stories.
It's hard to lose somebody. It's hard to lose somebody. Hard to lose people.
Yeah.
At this stage.
I mean, we're all gonna have to do it. It's not fun. And like I said, I'm preparing for a whole lot of people that we grew up with to pass, because I mean, we're just at that age. At least we're in our 50s, so we're at that age where I just remember my mother going through it, because all the people that she grew up listening to, all the Motown artists and all that kind of stuff that she listened to, all the actors that she liked growing up. I mean, she went to a period of time where a lot of them were bastard, and it seemed like it was constant. And I just remember her going through that. So we'll be doing the same. What are you gonna do? Right? Yeah. Yep.
Oh, hey. You thought you was gonna get away? You thought you was gonna get away?
I did.
You thought you was gonna get away? You thought you was gonna get away?
I don't know if I'm ready for this. Am I awake enough for this? I don't know.
I just do this to see that picture. Girl, go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Do your thing, girl.
I think I sent that to, I was like, here's a bunch of stuff. And I sent it to Ron, I think, at one point. It's like a lot of pictures of me. I actually have a picture for me, the 80s of me in a club DJing. That's pretty funny. Yeah. I mean, it started in like the mid 80s. So
When you was a young girl. Okay.
Oh, you
All
did a
right.
deep dive? Are you
Okay.
sure? Because I think I sent you that picture. But anyway,
Run.
mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
you've seen Jeopardy before, right? You've seen
I've seen
Jeopardy
Jeopardy.
before, right?
I've seen Jeopardy.
You've seen Jeopardy plenty of times, plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is the animal slash Jeopardy edition. Okay,
Okay.
right. I'm going to describe you some bands,
Okay.
and all these bands are animals.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, right. So, let us start. Would you like an example,
Am I
or
getting like
you just
songs from these bands, or are you gonna to get it?
no? Oh yeah, yeah. You might,
Okay.
you might rat. Funny rat. Okay, all right. I'll give it. I'll start you with an easy
Okay.
one. Okay. One of the most famous bands. They revolutionized in the '60s with hits like "Hey Jude" and "Let It Be."
Are the Beatles pets? Are they animals?
Ah,
Or
they're
bugs?
animals. Beatles are animals. They're bugs. Animals. You know.
Okay.
You know. Okay, but you're supposed to say what
Oh,
are the Beatles
that's
or what
right.
is
I
the Beatles?
didn't do it in Jeopardy format. What are the
Oh,
Beatles?
all
Thank you.
right. Known for their harmonizing and classic rock sounds, this band soared to fame in the 1970s with songs like Hotel California and Take
I
It
knew who that
Easy.
was before you told me any songs. Who are the Eagles? I think your word
Hey!
soar. They soared. Oh,
Soared.
somebody put
Trying
that
to
in
get you
there. Yeah.
there. Trying to get you there. Formed in the 1965 as a television band.
I already know. Do you want me to give it to you?
Hmm.
Who are the
Yeah.
monkeys?
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Now that gets harder. It's get harder.
Uh
You got two
oh.
more.
Okay.
You got two more. It gets harder. It gets harder. You ready?
I'm ready.
A British rock band formed in 1977, blending hard rock and pop, selling over 1 million records worldwide.
Hmm.
Would you like a song?
Yeah.
Pour some sugar on me.
Oh, the late 70s. All right. So, Def Leppard. Who was Def Leppard?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I forgot
Who
they
is
started in the 70s, but they did.
that? All right. Let's give you another one. Named after Herman Hesse's novel, the late this late 1960s heavy rock band influenced modern rock with hits like Born to Be Wild.
Who is Steppenwolf?
Hey, you got it.
They did a song called Magic Carpet Ride. I
Magic
think.
Carpet.
Am I right? Am I talking
Yeah, they
about
did.
them? Yeah.
Magic Carpet. Yeah.
You didn't talk about Hermits
And
Hermits or the Partridge Family? Go ahead.
mm,
Sorry.
Hermits. A 1960s folk rock band famous for Happy Together, originally called the Night Riders before adopting this title.
I'm glad that you brought these guys up because I didn't think you would. Who was the Turtles? Was it?
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I was
talking.
waiting for that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was tough. Okay, all right. I can't stump you. I
When you said
can't do it.
pets, I had like
Can't do
I
it.
ran a list of about 30 and I let them sit there and I went, okay. Like I'm thinking of the Partridge Family, then I was thinking of the Penguins, and I was thinking of there's all these weird uh that back in the 60s they all took an animal and decided let's just go with this animal. And we'll put the in
Yeah,
front of it
right.
and an S after it and it'll just be you know.
The
I was gonna ask you what do you think the Penguins sang, but I don't think you're gonna remember. Although it was redone
Penguins.
later by New Edition, I think. But I could be wrong.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What?
I'll let you look it up later.
I got so many jokes right now.
I
Okay,
know,
right.
I know, but it's true. You don't remember New Edition did like an album of 60s hits? They read it. Are you kidding me? You have to go get it. Are you kidding me? There's a whole album they did of like classics.
I know, but
And they redid one
really?
song, and it was a song by a band named after an animal.
The Penguins? Penguins?
Huh?
Penguins? The
The
Penguins?
Penguins.
The
Yeah,
Penguins? The Penguins?
I'm pretty sure. But again,
Oh,
I haven't had all my coffee yet, but I'm pretty sure that the song Earth Angel was
I
them by the
forgot.
Penguins, I believe.
Oh, dang it!
And New Edition
That
redid that. It was also
that was from the Karate Kid.
I don't know because I didn't like watch the Karate Kid, but I do know it was in Back to the Future. And Marvin Berry and the Starlighters or whatever it was did the song. Yeah, that Earth Angel was definitely a song from Back to the Future from the big the Fish Under the Sea dance or the whatever the heck it was, the Enchantment Under the Sea dance or whatever.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Anyway,
I
let's
forgot.
the welcome to my. I just want everybody to know. Welcome to my brain. My brain just like vomited. That's actually what my brain does all the time. I just don't do it out loud. I find a song and I connect it with like an artist, and then I decide, oh, how many versions were done, and then how many movies was that song in, and like my brain just does this thing. So sorry, reining it in.
I forgot. I forgot one more, but he already said it. The Arctic Monkeys.
Oh wow,
Buffalo
the Arctic
Springfield.
Monkeys. Oh
They were a
God,
British indie rock band formed in
yeah.
2002.
God, they only did one song, and I'm trying to remember it. I don't think I remember that song. It'll take me a minute.
People Say I Am, or That's What I'm Not.
I guess I'd have to hear it. I probably don't remember the title, but I do remember the band though.
Or whatever people say.
Because
Whatever people say I am, or
right.
that's what I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Because it was one of those songs that like I didn't if I play it a lot, like out when I'm DJing or whatever, like if it's a song that I play all the time, it's gonna be easier for me to remember. And that song would have been like a weird tune that I would have played as some rave somewhere. Like I remember it being a quick song, a fast song, an upbeat song, but I just don't remember it being a song like everybody wanted to hear all the time. So it would have been nichey. We had a period of time where people would listen to like, well, I guess Blue Oyster Cult. Yep, Birds, Whitesnake. Yardbirds. The Yardbirds, you know, I swear if we didn't have the Yardbirds, we would not have Tom Petty. That's all I'm going to say about that.
True.
You know, I really do think Adam the Ants. One of my favorite songs by Adam the Ants is wait. I can hear it, but I'm thinking of the title because it's probably the one everybody knows. I can't remember now. Isn't that crazy? Goody Two Shoes. There we go. Yeah. My coffee's uploading. Counting Crows, Seals and Crofts. Seals and Crofts. Oh, you know, you gotta lay back and listen to Summer Breeze, and there's nothing like that. I don't know what to say to you. There's just nothing, especially like on a summer night, like on a lawn chair or something. That song is like you close your eyes and just some of these songs that you hear, you can actually like it'll create like a whole thing in your head. Samantha Fox.
Summer Breeze makes us feel fine.
I don't know if Robin Gibb a band. I mean, wasn't he just a guy in the Bee Gees? I don't think Robin Gibb was. Andy Gibb was by himself, but I don't think Robin Gibb was by himself. I think he was part of the band. Yeah. The Bee Gees. Although, you know, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he made one song. I don't remember. Did he do "Woman in Love" with Barbara Streisand? Maybe that was him. Oh boy, Echo and the Bunnymen. What a great band that was. We get time for Ron to just riff off a bunch of stuff, and I can just be like, "Wow, right? That was a great band."
That was a great band.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
That was a great band.
Hootie.
Hootie and the
All I can
Blow.
think of when I hear of Hootie and the Blowfish is oh, I don't like Mondays. Tell me why. I don't like Mondays. Tell me why. That's what goes through my head when I see Boomtown Rats. Um, every time I see Hootie and the Blowfish, I think of friggin' Jerry Maguire and Cuba Gooding Jr. going to the airport and some kid coming up and going, "Can I get your autograph?" And him going, "Yeah, sure." And they're going, "Are you Hootie?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "No, I am not
No.
Hootie." Every time I see that song, every time I see that band, I think of it. Again, more
Classic.
of stuff that comes out of my brain. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Do you know that my brain does
Snoop
this like
Dogg.
incessantly to the point where if I don't train it before I go to sleep, it will do that and keep me awake? It will.
I believe it.
It will.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
The life of a DJ. The life of a DJ. Hey,
Bloodhound
I
Gang.
like that.
Did they ever do
The
more than
life
one
of-
song? I think they only did what was that? Human Nature or Human whatever the heck it was. That was that one song that everybody was so crazy about in the late 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. So let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crazy.
The Bad Touch. That's what it's called. That.
The Bad Touch.
The Bad
Bad
Touch.
Touch.
Some of these songs have titles that are not in the song. And in my opinion, that's one of those songs that the title's not in the song. So you don't know the title, you're gonna be one of those people that come up to the DJ booth and try to sing it to me because you don't know the name of it. And then I have to hope you can sing and that I can understand what you're asking me for. That happens to me all the time. That happens to me all the time. Can you play that song?
And they hum a few bars.
Yeah. And on top of this, the music's playing in the background. Do you know the story of John Cougar Mellencamp? Do you know that they tried to rename him?
Yes.
That he's John Mellencamp, but that they tried to rename him for that first album, and he went along with it because he was a kid, and he's like, I hated it.
Yep.
And then once he was big enough and had enough behind him and some power with the record companies, he changed it to John Cougar Mellencamp so he didn't lose his audience.
Mm.
And then eventually he took the Cougar out of the middle.
Yep.
Because he never liked it. Isn't that crazy? And there's a couple of songs he did back in the 1982 that he didn't like, I guess, but they made him put on the album. That's so crazy. Yeah, there's so many music. There's so many songs out there that like, what's that song by Bob Dylan? That it's Stray Cats. See, stop doing that. So when he's doing that, he's distracting me.
Like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Brian Setzer's great. If you ever get a chance to see Brian Setzer in his orchestra, he's great.
Yes,
if you like that, we had that little teeny period at the end of the 90s. Does anybody remember where it was just like it was a swing period?
Yes.
Suddenly, all of a sudden, you had A to the Bar. You had the the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. You had Brian Setzer in his orchestra, and all of a sudden, everything was like swing for like 2 weeks. Do you remember the Gregorian chant era?
Oh yeah.
So for like I think it was 1990, 88 or 89, something like that. All of a sudden, Enigma was big, and like there's a couple of Enya was big, and there's a couple of like ethereal bands that came out, and everybody was just like into Gregorian chanting. Like, what is that? Think about that. What is that? And then it went away.
It disappeared.
Right. So if you go and you look up Sadness by Enigma, and there's a couple other ones. I think The End of Innocence by them. Why I have that stuff in my head, I don't know, but I do. Eagle Eye Cherry. Nene Cherry's brother. Crazy. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Nene Cherry, who did Buffalo Stance. That's Nene Cherry's brother, Eagle Eye Cherry. And I think Save Tonight was his song. Yeah.
When the Buffalo Stance?
Yeah, that's Nene Cherry and Eagle Eye were related. Yes.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Peter Wolf. Peter Wolf's a Boston boy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Peter Wolf's a Boston boy.
Yes, he is. All right.
I know. Ron keeps doing that, and he keeps distracting us. Were we stretching for time because
I
we
don't,
ran
I don't,
out of
I
all our
don't,
stuff?
I don't know. I guess we had 10
Alien
minutes.
Ant Farm did a really good Smooth Criminal. They did a really
Yes.
good remix of that or remake of that.
Are you okay, Eddie? Eddie, are you okay? Are you
And
okay,
if you want to
Eddie?
see one of the best I mean, Michael Jackson's videos were just like amazing. But if you want to see a really good video, go see Smooth Criminal and get the version
Ooh,
where it's like it starts with the kids outside the fence and the whole bit.
yes.
You got to see
Yes.
that. That is amazing. That video from beginning to end. I
Yep.
mean, he did these movie videos that were like,
Yep.
and
First
Smooth
one ever to
Criminal is
do
one of
it.
my
Yep.
absolute favorite. It's like this. It's so cool. It's like done in this like 1920s gangster, like almost like a back bar, speakeasy kind of look with gangsters and zoot
Yep.
suits and so good.
Yep.
But anyway, I guess we're gonna wrap it up because I don't know if we have anything else.
And then there was You Rock My World. Absolute
Oh,
phenomenal
You Rock
movie.
My World was, like I said, one of my favorites. I love Remember the Time. I love Remember the Time. I can't tell you how much I love that video. You've seen that, right? A million
Yes.
times. You got Iman.
Right?
You got Magic Johnson.
Yes.
You got Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy. I mean, it's like
Yep.
one of the best videos. Like I said, I love all his stuff.
Yes.
But I just, for some reason, Smooth Criminal is like just peak Michael Jackson, just the best.
Yes.
As far as dance routines and stuff. And I love All Right by Janet Jackson, which goes right into that same Cab Calloway, 1930s type of stuff. And that was also a really great video that she did. But no, I don't say peak Michael is ABC because I don't know. I'm not a fan of Joe Jackson. I'm just not.
No.
And I like their early stuff because they had to do it. But Joe Jackson was a slave driver, and I'll tell you, I always believed that Michael Jackson was a protective of children and was interested in making sure that they had lives because he knew what it was like to be a child star and blah blah blah. And he knew a lot about the industry. And there's videos of him going after Tommy Mottola. I'll let you go find those yourself. But he went after Tommy Mottola for a really long time. With Sony Music. And a sidebar, because my brain does this. There's a song called Chez La Femme by Savannah, Dr. Savannah's band. God, this was in the 70s. And that was a great band. It was an old 70s band, and they did a lot of like kind of 40s jazzy kind of stuff if you get a chance. But Chez La Femme was one that hit the charts. And in that song is Tommy Mottola's name, which is really funny because I didn't know who Tommy Mottola was in 1974. But Tommy Mottola was apparently out there being a scallywag for a lot of years. And so he ended up marrying Mariah Carey. But way before that, Dr. Savannah's, oh God, I forget the whole name of the band, but Chez La Femme, if you look that up, and that's French, you'll hear that was a hit in the 70s, and his name was in it. Anyway, I do believe that he was protective of children or whatever. But what bothered me was when he died, which I know a lot of us were upset when he died. When he passed, his father was absolutely disrespectful. I couldn't even believe. And I don't know if you remember this, but his father was trying to push a band at his funeral, which was awful.
Yeah.
They're like, so how do you feel about your son being dead? Blah, blah, blah. Like whatever they're saying, the usual thing where they're standing. I don't even know. In my opinion, I don't think they should have had a whole news crew outside anyway. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
But they asked Joe about that, and he said, I have this new band I'm coming. Like, I don't want to talk about my son's death, but what I want to talk about is this band I'm putting together. And I'm like, I can't believe that's so disgusting. I can't even believe he did that. But it is, if you go look it up, it's there. He's standing in front of the funeral home that his son is being laid out in, talking about a band he is putting together and trying to promote them in front of there. And I thought that was awful. So that's how I feel about all that old 60s stuff. I love it, but I also know like what was behind it. When they were kids. I mean, look at Janet Jackson on the Jackson 5 show. I mean, doing Mae West. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was good at it. But he just drove those kids into the ground, and it's sad. But anyway, tomorrow Kenny is back with Ron.
Yep.
And I think he's going to take Ron to school over that, where Ron just like
Yep.
just
Yep.
blew his cover and
I'm
explained
going,
who he voted for, and he's going to get him for that.
I am going to expose Ron. Yep.
You're
Expose
gonna
him.
expose Ron for
Expose
the
him.
snitch. He's the
Yep.
snitch that he is, telling
Yep.
people's votes out loud.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I believe this should be a top 5, and it's probably going to be highly offensive to Kenny.
Of course it is.
Right?
Of course it is.
It's
Of course
always
it
a
is.
top 5, and Kenny never
Yep.
likes this top 5,
He
but
always
Ron
gets
does it
wrong.
anyway.
He always gets
What'd
it
you say?
wrong. Always gets it wrong.
Yeah, if it is, we're starting Fairy Tale Week. I can't even imagine what we're going to be getting into for Fairy Tale Week, but that's what's starting tomorrow. So
Oh no.
I don't know. Should one of them stories be about a fairy tale that Ron had a top 5 that you liked?
Genius.
What do you
Genius.
think?
Genius.
There's
Genius.
this fairy tale where Ron did top 5, and Kenny loved every single thing he said
Yes.
before we all woke up.
Yes.
Okay.
Ding.
All right. Well, yep.
Yep.
You got to see tomorrow's episode of Ron's Top 5. Absolutely. Like I said, you just see Kenny
Yep.
steaming mad. Damn it, man. So go off and have your Saturday. Enjoy your day. Again, tomorrow, Kenny and Ron will be back this time. But make sure you stay here and come here and see us every day at 10 o'clock in the morning because we got it going on daily. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.